Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is, wherever it is you are listening to this episode of Living Truthfully. And Karibu, thank you very much for being here. Living Truthfully. Ebu, you know, listen, you guys, I really enjoyed doing this podcast. Like, I really do. And I'm so honored and privileged that you guys are still listening. And sometimes I'm wondering why. And then sometimes I have guests like Timba, and I'm like, okay, this is deep stuff. This is great. This is great conversation. So I'm really grateful that you guys are here. So how are you doing? If you're in Kenya, we've just started hearing about the second wave of COVID. And it's serious. I have 3 friends who tested positive a week ago. Are you keeping yourself safe? This thing is real. Actually, we might figure out how real it is because I have someone in studio who might have a bit more information than the average Kenyan. But are you keeping yourself safe? Please do. Don't gamble with life, man. Wear your mask. Social distance as much as you can. Wash your hands and sanitize. And then don't manga necessarily. And stop going to the bars and mpaka sijui what time. Just stay home. And if you have to, you know,
have your drink at home.
A polite one, bana. Anyway, today with me I have a serial entrepreneur, a very funny guy, and then, you know, those guys who are fun but solid. Fun, enjoys life, but solid. He has his ninis. He's together. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Mwirigi. A victory.
Big up.
Mr. Mwirigi, karibu, man.
Asante sana.
Welcome to Living Truthfully.
Thank you.
You've been an ardent listener, bana.
Dude, from that first podcast, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's so humbling, eh? You know, when you have someone who you think highly of, listen to you.
Myself? No.
It's very confusing.
No.
I think very highly of you.
Amani,
Yeah?
seriously? We can't be having this conversation.
No. I mean, I'm saying the truth.
I'm also saying the
Can
truth.
you handle the truth? I'm saying the truth. But
Yeah.
I think very highly of you.
I think your life is just colorful. I look up to your
Entertaining, maybe. Okay, first.
I doubt it's entertaining.
Let's start with
Yes.
you're sworn to secrecy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What you may have seen
As I walked in,
or heard cannot be used against me at any point.
it goes both ways.
Okay.
Yes. So
Done.
the oath taken.
Oath is taken.
Yes.
How you doing, man?
I'm well. I'm very well.
How's your family?
Family is good.
How's your biasharas?
Biasharas are good. Trying work as well. So I am an entrepreneur and I'm also working.
You're employed.
I am employed. Yes.
Okay, so let's start with let me introduce you. Or no, let's have you introduce yourself because I'm also gonna be learning some things.
Yeah.
So Mwirigi, I see a name Torooti.
Yes. Oh no.
It confuses me.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are your names? Like, and it's not proper English, but what are the full names that form your name?
So it's Mwirigi Torooti Kinagwe.
Kinagwe.
Yes.
Is Torooti a Meru name?
It is not a Meru name. And it's not a Kalenjin name as many people.
Because that I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
Toroitich.
yeah. It's very close to Toroitich.
Or it's not Masai as people think. So it's neither all of them. So it's I didn't get a chance to ask my dad how he concocted the name, but I figured it had to do with the time when I was born during a big transition, and him being the crazy guy that he is in his head, he does these crazy things. He just coined, Merunized a name. So Toroitich, how can I make it sound almost Meru? Torooti.
Wow.
Yes, so that's how it came about. And I've had difficult times explaining all my names. So people pronouncing Mwirigi, Torooti, and end up just calling me Migs.
Oh,
it's usually easier.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm glad we have that out of the way. What do you do? I mean, I know you do biasharas, but
yes.
you said you're also employed. So tell me, what is your life like now? What are you doing? What is the stage of life you're in?
Wow. I think my friends usually have a fun time when I'm asked such questions in social gatherings about what do you do, and then they start laughing
because it's going to be a twisted tail.
It's going to be a twisted tail. And what I would say, my day job is I'm trying to increase access of people to healthcare and substantially reduce the cost of running healthcare, which is making healthcare very expensive in Kenya. And one way we're doing this is through technology. Okay. So in my day job, I work as a commercial director at Keape. Keape is a technology company that runs a platform called Mtiba. So if we digitize, the thinking is if we digitize how we pretty much all the administrative, the very inefficient ways of doing healthcare, you reduce the cost and people can access healthcare. So that's the thinking. So that's what I do during the day. Okay. And it's quite fulfilling. And
that's such a good job, man.
It is, but again, you realize healthcare is really a place that is very, can I say, sensitive. It's a sensitive industry because healthcare is so personal. If you're right now talking about your friends who are positive, man, that's a situation where someone's health is affected. Their minds are, with this COVID thing, the minds, the mental health of people is affected. Healthcare, you can't pinpoint healthcare. It traverses all the areas of our life. So, trying to change it is a challenge and has many moving parts.
That I understand.
Yeah,
I understand because you know that in my past life I did work for people at least in pharma.
Yes.
In your industry in a sense.
Yeah.
I did work for. I mean, GSK was my client, Novartis was my client.
Correct.
Sanofi was my client.
Correct.
So. And I got into a space, and especially in the pharma space, when we were really trying to figure out how to communicate some drugs, to healthcare providers.
Yes.
So I got to see the pharma side of the business, but also got to see the healthcare side of the business because you're trying to give information to healthcare providers, to HCPs, on this drug, or even this disease.
Correct.
So me who failed science, chemistry and biology, at one point was discussing a DPP4 inhibitor for type 2 diabetes, you know?
Yes.
In Ethiopia. Because that's...
I can't even remember what's the DPP4. So, no, you don't need to go into it.
Or even, what's this, like a proton prohibitor for GERD,
yes,
for gastroesophageal reflux disease.
Throw the big words.
Throw the big words. Yeah, guys have got to know, man.
Throw the big words.
Yeah. So I was that
Throw
guy.
the big words, yes. GERD.
But, so anyway, so I saw the industry, and this is what I thought. I thought to myself, in my perspective, that the issue with healthcare in this country is lack of compassion. It's very mechanical. So it was then. It was then. And this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the very scientific approach was rarely patient focused.
True.
Okay?
Yes.
And I remember this being a conversation that we had with one of those clients, GSK, which was one of their things they were trying to push even inside their business to be a lot more patient focused.
Yeah.
But even as I interacted with HCPs, it's more the science than the patient. You understand? So I mean,
but
eventually,
you have to understand.
Eventually,
you have to understand. You're talking to chops.
Yeah.
so they're interested in understanding the science behind whatever you're trying
I'm with
to say.
them.
Yes. But in medical school, we were never taught, or it was not a focus about the patient. It was about the disease and how to overcome the disease. So that makes you know that I did medicine.
Yes. I know you're a doctor.
And the God story, and many things are forgotten. And it is a challenge. And one of the things we are seeing, technology helping, especially the we call it the top of the pyramid, the doctors or the people who provide care, is the feedback, because they never get feedback from their patients. Imagine Uber. You do an Uber or you'd use any of these taxis. There's instant feedback to the driver. There's instant feedback to the platform.
Company,
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine if you could do that for healthcare. So as a doctor,
let me tell you, half the doctors in this country will be out of work.
No, they wouldn't be out of work. It would change behavior.
Okay.
And and that's the thing. So you assume it's one direction.
Yeah.
I know you don't know, or you know less than myself, and please listen to me. And there's no bi-directional feedback. And also because of issues of...
but also I'm the one in pain.
I know.
So I'm the one who's feeling what I'm feeling.
In fact, one doctor told me the people who get instant feedback in our profession are surgeons. Because if your blade moves to the left 1 millimeter, you get feedback. You have to deal with it. So technology has a role to play in all these spheres of healthcare, because as you're saying, it doesn't work like a commercial operation. It needs to. You need to get feedback. It is not the days of one direction, especially with these kids of ours who know how to throw back comments.
And they have Googled everything.
And they have Googled. And they will challenge.
By the time they come, they have not just they've been on WebMD plus Healthline plus all those other platforms.
Yes. They have asked in their social groups. What do you think?
And then they've gotten feedback as well from other people who have stories.
Correct.
The time they're coming to see a doctor, they have a semi-degree. Of course, they know nothing. But
yes, they have an idea. But you cannot ignore that. That's the thing. You cannot ignore that anymore. As not only doctors, I think it's all the professions. And that's going to be the challenge. And if us as the health professionals don't embrace this and look at it as something that improves my practice, technology companies will come and do it for us. So,
no, they will.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm waiting
for
the disruption, like major disruption of medicine. And I think
it is happening.
It's here.
There are so many things. And just maybe to finally talk on healthcare, it's the big problem I see and why it's hard to disrupt is there are too many moving parts. You've talked about pharma. There is radiology, which is now this X-rays and all. There are so many sub-specialities and so many moving parts that bringing it together is going to be such a sweet moment if it comes together. And ultimately, the patient needs to be at the center.
What do you think is the future for telehealth?
Oh, gosh, you went there. No, telehealth, I see people talking about telehealth. This is my, I'll put a disclaimer. This is my view.
It's an opinion.
It's my opinion. It probably wouldn't be right or to some people, but I see telehealth being played out like this big thing, but it's just a medium. So I'm with you here, Amadi, talking. A doctor and patient usually do that. I might as well do this interview through Zoom. And we could still do it, and it's still an interaction. I deliver drugs. It's happening, but no one is making big noise about it. I should say telehealth is just another channel for people to connect healthcare and whoever, even healthcare to healthcare. Like you are a senior doctor, I'm a junior doctor, please advise me. Or I'm a senior nurse, please advise me.
I have a case I'm looking for.
Correct. So it should be looked as a medium rather than this big disruptor. The big disruptor is when the patient is at the center of the healthcare experience. That's what other people do. Taxi now, I have control. Sorry. Food. When I want to go on holiday, Airbnb. And the hotel gets instant feedback, or the Airbnb gets instant feedback. And now you have to conform.
Yeah.
Real estate, which is also lagging behind because I build a house, people will come. Whether I fix it up, whether I do anything, people will come. The reality is changing. People on Instagram are just posting, look at my house. I am in Kino, but this house looks like it's in Westlands. I want to go there. People leave these shabby houses and move there. But sometimes even landlords or even agents don't get feedback. So anything to change or disrupt is when you put the customer at the center. Period. Whether it's healthcare, whether it's real estate, whether it's education. I am in education as well. We never ask our parents what they think. We don't ask our children what we think. Seriously.
It's just one direction.
Seriously.
Like the band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously. No,
Yeah.
but just...
I hear you.
like the...
No, I'm with you. And
I missed the joke.
it's okay. Someone else will laugh for you.
Yeah. Cool. But you get.
I hear you completely.
So I'm in this. I'm also in manufacturing.
So you're in real estate. So now that we've gone outside of healthcare, you're in real estate?
Yes.
So are you selling land? Are you building houses? What are you doing? Generally.
No.
Are
as
you
a hobby,
renovating
yes,
old houses?
I renovate. That's like a hobby that I started when I was young. Renovating homes, renovating our own house, and I just do that because I want to change places from how they look drab to nice looking places. I don't think I am able to do what guys do on social media. I aspire to that. And now I've moved from that to now seeing how I see real estate as a path to financial freedom. But I can't afford what is there. So what I'm trying to do is create these vehicles to be able to acquire property, old drab looking ones that people ignore, turn it up, and be able to get guys to buy. So if you have a one,
so to flip it. So
flip it, no, not necessarily.
So in a sense, but you're taking one thing, you're adding value, and then flipping it.
Correct.
Whatever iteration
correct.
it looks
and then
like.
When others join with me, I am able to afford a small portion of it. Yes, and that's how I see myself playing.
That's very clever.
It's not necessarily clever. I've been advised. They're more clever people than me. They're smart guys. Even the guys you've had here on the podcast, I've listened to some of them. I'm like, okay, there's some things you can learn here.
Generally, that's my modus operandi. Have cleverer people than me on the podcast.
Yes,
that way I get to learn. This is
and get land cheaply.
This is why you have that seat.
I don't do land. I've also reached, there was this temptation where everyone was doing even they get land, hire it, and then build mabati houses and cram people in there. And of course, it looks, people look at the numbers, but no one looks at the living conditions necessarily. And I was advised by a very wise man. He told me, if you can't live there, don't build it.
I hope you guys are hearing, Bana.
Yeah.
You landlords out there. I hope you're hearing. All right. Yeah. So that's real estate.
Real estate, yes.
Education.
Education was a mistake. I got into education by mistake.
Okay. So, is it still a mistake? Is it like...
No, it's not a mistake. It's surprisingly surprisingly, the things you plan for don't go as well as you want. But the ones you are not planned for, you find you're just going in a roller coaster. So in education, the story is my wife has wanted to be a kindergarten teacher from way back.
First, when you go back home, please say it to your wife.
I think
she's such a wonderful human being.
Yes.
And I really like her. Just tell her I said what's up. I got her.
I hope this won't reach her before then.
I hope so. you have like a day before it goes out.
Yeah. So education was by chance. So she was like, at her first job, she was feeling that there was no progress, and because her mom was also involved in education, she felt I needed to do this. So as a guy, what do? You look for a solution. You don't ask. Somehow I meet this person running a school, and she wanted to expand. I invited her to to Ngong, and we checked out some places. Then she was like, okay, so to consult for you, I will give you your bill to consult to tell you how to run a kindergarten. And I'm like, no, I want you to run it with us. And then somehow it kind of clicked. So what she was thinking and what I was planning for my wife came together. Then my wife got a new job and she forgot about the kindergarten.
No way.
Then, so we have a kindergarten that now is almost 6 years and growing. And of course, Corona and how it messed up education came in. But it's I can't take any credit. It's pretty much my partner. She's the brains. She's the energy. Me, I'm just a guy taking a ride and enjoying it.
Wow.
And so the unplanned ones.
That's crazy. Because I talked to someone the other day, about a couple of weeks ago, who's in big business. I won't say his industry right now, but big business. And I asked him, how do you get here?
Yeah.
And the guy told me, Amani, my story is a story of a fool and his luck.
Yes.
Like it was not planned, but those unplanned ones have come out to...
Let me tell you, we had others. We have sat down with my partners. We have strategized. You have even brought in consultants. You're like, this is the hot ticket.
Nothing.
Nothing.
That is so
And then this one that is like, it was like, I was trying to solve a problem at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, and seems to be doing...
Did you say 600 children?
No, I didn't say 600.
6 years. You said 6 years.
6 years.
I was like, that number, those are six.
And the first year, it started with 4 students. First time, rather. The first time we opened, 2014. I remember. Planted a tree with my late mother-in-law. God bless her soul. She came to support me. She came and brought 2 trees. Wow. And said, we are launching this in the name of Jesus. I remember that day. And the tree is still there. Yeah. I miss her so much. So 6 years later, it's not been easy. It's not been easy. But having a strong partner, a bit older, who has weathered more storms than myself, has really been an eye opener. Yeah. So that's education.
All right. Manufacturing.
Oh my goodness.
Let's keep going.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So manufacturing also another mistake, or can I call it chance meeting? Actually, I was encouraging a friend who we had met in a business plan competition. So there was a time we used to do business plan competitions.
That's so cool.
And you go for 1 week retreats to now tighten that business plan and present it and win a prize. So this guy is a very sharp guy, an innovator. So we met up, and he was stuck he couldn't start. And we used to meet in town, and he's telling me about this idea, like, and then carrying some samples of recycled stuff. And I was like, start. Stop talking about it, start. And the day he called me, said, come to Kariobangi. Come. I have found a place and I have found a machine. So I go to help to assist him. And I see that he gets stuck. So I'm again, like, why am I feeling like it's a savior mentality now?
The discoveries people find in this podcast.
Yeah. So essentially I decide to get in. And we do this, and like I'm assisting you. It's like, why not come on board? So I was like, okay, And the problem is now you start and you can't get out. And again, it's about the same time, 2013, 2014. What was happening in my life then?
You see, this is what I like about this podcast. I don't even have to ask the questions.
Oh gosh. What was happening then? Oh gosh. Okay. Anyway, So, so started off one client after the next.
What do you manufacture?
So, essentially, it was an environmental company. That's how it started. we are changing the environment, we're cleaning. So we take whatever is being thrown away and changing it into something useful. So we said our first use case is plastic. So we take plastic, mold it into fencing posts. And he had done it with in another business. So he knew the ins and outs. So we manufacture plastic posts, plastic planks. Planks are the ones which like mbao, so it's plastic mbao, which you can make benches. You can do pretty much anything with it, like mbao.
My goodness.
Then his crazy idea was like, we can't stop here. And he kept pushing the envelope and pushed and pushed and pushed. And now we have a new line of plastic roofing tiles, plastic cabros, paving blocks, slabs. Yeah. So, yes. And here we are 6 years later. Again, 2013. What happened then?
Tell me, what happened in 2013?
Actually, I'm trying to
How
think
old
about
were you
it.
then?
Ooh.
Then?
Yeah.
Because it could be an age, stage of
Was
life
it
thing.
30, 7 years ago, 30, maybe 30, 32, 7. Gosh, no, sorry, 35.
So could it be a stage of life for ambition, for courage?
No, I've always been crazy with such ideas.
Okay.
I think it just that with age, I see that I get more structured when a crazy idea comes on board.
So you're able to recognize what it is, that this is a crazy idea, but
no,
it
it's
could
always
work.
crazy. Yeah,
It could work, and I can put structure into this.
Starting structure. I'm usually a very good starter.
Then after that,
hey, chaos. I
you
am
and
chaotic.
me both. Danny,
I am chaos.
you have made me feel so normal for
I
a
am chaos.
second.
Even at KRP, I am the guy who comes to rabble rouse. Actually, even a few days ago, we were doing analysis of personalities, and my team was saying, "That's you, that's you. No structure, no, what do you call them? No boundaries. That's you." Yeah.
But lateral thinkers like you and me,
They're called lateral thinkers. Yes. Thank you for the term. Let me write that down.
Yeah, write it.
Lateral thinkers.
So there's linear thinkers and lateral thinkers. So linear thinkers think in a straight line. And so for those people, there's a lot of structure because it has to follow through like this and the line has to keep going. For lateral thinkers, the world of possibilities is wider.
Yeah.
So it could go in a line, it could go sideways, it could go diagonally. And so what we are great at being able to pick up those things that would have not been in the purview
of the linear thinkers.
The linear thinker. But we need the linear thinkers to be able to make it work.
To pull through. Yeah. Actually, that's... and I'm also writing a book.
Oh, sorry, we were not done with the list. Sorry, guys. This podcast is called The List. That's what we shall call it today.
We should call the list of things. Yeah, no. In the book, I am... it's after my blog, Juakali MBA. Juakali is essentially my mom's philosophy. As in not doing things by the book. It's not corporate. It's just getting things done and learning on the job. And one thing I saw with my parents was this thing you're talking about. So I am the chaotic one. I start things and I can walk away. And that's probably why the school is doing quite well, is because the one who is leading, she's a linear thinker, and she's a finance person. So you get through. I have nothing to say.
You don't need finance people to be creative.
Ooh,
you don't want creative accounting,
Oh yeah, they're straight to the point. Yeah, and I realized, I think it was a learning when observing my parents, was that my dad, as I said, how can you call your son Torooti? Really, dude, seriously, how can you? Why? Why are you putting a shame to your son? Every time you go to the village, what is Torooti? No, what's this? Yeah. So, and when you analyze back, he was the guy who enters a room, throws a grenade, and walks out.
Oh.
Yes. And who would have to pick up after him?
Your mother.
Correct.
Bless her soul.
Yes. So, you have, it's like yin and yang.
Yeah.
You need the lateral thinker and the linear thinker. Yeah. As long as everyone can understand their space.
Yeah.
I think
So what is the book? The book is now called, is it going to be called Juakali MBA?
It's called Juakali MBA. Okay. The first series guy, I'm like making sound like it's
Yeah,
all
no, no.
thought out. It's
Yeah.
not thought out by the just the foundation. So it's like any building. I love construction. So you always start with the foundation. So I'm trying there to talk about the basics of the foundation of what I think is important. Yeah. Could be wrong, could be right. It's
It's your thought.
it's just my thought.
And you're putting it out there.
And I'm putting it out there. So yeah.
When it's done, come. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I'll read it
Yes.
because you're my friend.
Yes.
and then we'll talk about it.
Yes.
So, is there anything that you're doing that we haven't covered as a business?
Yeah, sure. You want us to go?
Yeah.
No. The rest are just now quite interesting ideas. Technology. I've been in technology for many minutes. Ask a Doc was one of the pioneer technology companies that was trying telemedicine in those days. So when I talk about telemedicine, you realize I understand when you move away from necessarily the hype to how it should be a solution or a channel. Built hospital systems, one of the first cloud-based. So you don't need to install servers in your hospital. All these were small, maybe learnings that got me into CarePay. And CarePay was a mistake again. I was broke. I was trying all these companies. They were not catching fire. An opportunity came to do a project that would help me add more money in my bank so I can go back into the... and again, that's 2013. Oh, gosh.
Or we could call this podcast 2013.
Yeah, so actually, you should call it 2013. Yeah, actually, 2013. Yeah. So actually, I was going in for a 3-month contract, help these guys get this concept, which was a paper, and the guy really needed to prove this and say that it can change how healthcare is. As usual, I get in, I disrupt, build it in 3 months. Proof of concept is done. The guy is able to go and raise money with it. And then he's like, dude, you're not going anywhere. 2013 and 2020.
We shall investigate that 2013.
Wow.
But it's a blessing, man. It's like a year that really started off things for you.
Yeah.
How's your family?
Family is good.
How many kids?
2 kids, 2 boys.
How old?
11 and 7.
How is it fathering boys?
And now a word from our sponsors.
Moving house can be a daunting task even for a bachelor like me, who has little to move. Actually, it's especially daunting for a bachelor like me because cleaning. That's why when I needed to move this week to a new home that had been commercially used and had been vacant for over 2 months, I knew I had to call in the experts. Parapet Cleaning is the leading cleaning and allied solutions provider in East and Central Africa. They have been in existence for 22 years, currently providing services in Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, and Rwanda. I called them in, and boy, did they clean. Their home spring cleaning product, it takes about 8 hours of deep cleaning, making sure all nooks and crannies are cleaned. I'm now recording from the comfort of a clean and almost sterile environment in my new home. Thanks to their professional and very friendly team. Oh, have I told you about their detailed car cleaning? It takes about 7 hours of interior and exterior detailing to bring the car to its almost showroom look. Yeah, they did that for my very old Muti a couple of months ago. Give them a call today on 0788 888 748 or email on info@parapetcleaning.com. Thank you at Cleaner Strauss, cleaner #1 for hooking a brother up. Now, I hear you also do gardening and landscaping. See my garden. Am I pushing it? Is your team performing like a Formula 1 team? Because it should. It should be high performing and with great precision. After over 13 years of building teams for some of the biggest companies in Kenya and Uganda, I have developed the ultimate team building thought process named Pit Stop. Now, this process will help your team build trust, become innovative, and increase performance. Now, if this sounds like the team you want to work with, even with the challenges brought in by COVID-19, shoot me an email on amanimaranga@gmail.com and I will work at bringing your team to performing like a Formula One team. I've shared my life openly on this podcast, and it has had many endings and many new beginnings. One of those new beginnings for me is starting to invest again after the end of my marriage. The last few weeks I've had some exciting trips with some friends from Newlands looking at plots of land in Juja, in Naivasha, and in the epic Narok, and I'm super stoked to start investing in real estate. I know times are hard, but there's no better time to start making wise investment decisions than now. I'll soon be sharing details of my Juja investment, but for now, check out their website, which is Newlands, nulands.co.ke, or their Facebook page, Newlands Limited, and ask about the Living Truthfully payment plan. And now, back to our story. How is it fathering boys?
Wow, you went there. Boys, I would say difficult. I've had to learn a lot along the way. I have seen guys who've had their dads around, how they're able to translate what they saw with their dads and how they interact. I didn't have that much. My dad used to travel quite a bit. And so I was pretty much raised by my mom, sisters, and my brother. So these guys is just learning on the job. And one thing my wife told me was, talk to them like you're talking to an adult. Don't talk to kids like kid talk. These guys know a lot.
They do.
And they play us, by the way. They know a lot. They talk a lot. And now that they have these gadgets, they can absorb a lot of material. So it's been a journey. I think it's just talking to them. Once you talk to them, you'll get feedback, and if they can trust you with all the silly ideas, which they call silly, and I'm like, no, that's not silly. Of course, my background is doing crazy things. Yeah, so it's interesting.
That's so good. You're validating the ideas. That's magic, eh?
Yeah,
it's gonna make them so confident.
I hope so. They are confident, but I don't know what happens at teenage. So that's where I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the same boat.
Yes.
I mean, my daughter is 13, my son is 11. So
Yes.
we have we're in the same boat there.
We usually cross paths when we're going to pick and drop.
Yeah, pick and drop in
Yes,
school.
yes.
So now, tell me,
Yes,
have you had the sex talk with your boys?
of course.
How did you have it?
Again, very early. We discuss this with our boys. So we have a group of friends who we actually share like the problems we're going through. And like one of the things was, don't do the birds and the bees.
I've never understood what the birds
I
and
don't
the bees
know.
were.
Yeah, because I don't know which is the sting, the penis, or the dick, and is what's a relative for the vagina. I'm going to use those words here because that's what we talk
that's
with
true.
them.
That's and I'm
It
asking
started
because
with-
I want us to. I'm asking because I've started,
Yeah.
but I feel like this is such a necessary convo.
Yes.
I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and he was like, "I don't know where to start."
Wow.
And he's a dude, so I'm like, maybe this is a conversation we need to have and say, how do we help dads
Yes.
have this conversation?
Man, you have a big task on your hand. The problems you have identified. Yeah. This one was, again, I all credit to my wife. Again. What she did, she picked up there's this book when we had our first kid. She needed to understand what's the process of delivery. So I think many women have this book. There's one that used to be in textbook center, which is pictorial. So it even shows the baby coming out of the vagina. And
What book is it?
I'll get the name. I can send you the picture.
As guys did what to expect when you're expecting.
Oh, okay. I don't know the name. But this is pictorial, just to show. Yeah. So
Stages
so
of
she started with
development.
the baby coming out. She said, dudes, this is where you came out from.
Wow.
So what is that? That's a vagina. Okay, so the baby was in the stomach. Technically not in the stomach, it's called the uterus. Okay. Concepts. Okay. Then after that, when they're showering, they say, that's your penis. In fact, I call it a dick with them. And Dad, what's a dick? It's...
Yeah, so and when I told my son it's called a penis, I asked him whether he'd had any other names.
Yes.
He said dick.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You see? So start the conversation yourself. It's uncomfortable, but in a while they understand.
Yeah,
these guys know.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So then again had the conversation of what's the purpose of the dick. The dick is to urinate and it's to have sex. So what is sex? So wow, then you're like, okay, so sex is when a man and woman lie together. The man puts his dick in the vagina and some semen comes out and they can make a baby. Okay. So that concept had been swirling for a while. They're not understanding until I think one of them starts getting a hard-on in the morning. So I'm like, yeah, so your body is preparing yourself for this eventuality that you'll be able to have sex. But you have to have sex. Not now, not soon. Ideally, you should be someone you want to have babies with. Yeah. So the conversations happen now. It's not like a formal sit down. It's you take the moment you see a guy's having a hard-on, talk about it. Then you go into the toilet. Yeah, okay, and just say dick. Yeah. Mom, why don't you have
normal.
Mom, why don't you have a dick? No, I'm a woman. I'm different. I have a vagina. Yes, things like that. So it's but the problem is, I don't know what happens when when I was a teenager. I think the hormones just drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Now, have we given them too much information that now they know?
So the question
about
is
sex? So that's a crazy question. Yeah.
Is how do you now infuse values with that information? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you because this is a thought I've been having over a period of time. I even sat down with a friend of mine, Zabo, Pastor Mlandi, because I feel like he did it very well with Bapo kids when I was growing up as a teenager. And he was very blunt with them. So he was having those conversations that parents are not having.
Correct.
But I think there's a way. What I saw happen to Bapo kids later is that they had really good relationships with women.
Good.
They were respectful. Most of them have had marriages that have lasted, And I realized
and
that...
started from there.
Yeah, it was when he was their youth pastor.
Okay.
So it was when they were teens. He was sort of bridging that gap that he probably figured folks are not having these conversations with the kids.
And they get it from their friends.
Exactly.
Or the internet now.
So I think and what I'm trying to do with my son now is have the conversations with some sense of value system. So I think, like for example, so we've talked about semen.
Yes.
And Zabo really gave me the language for it.
What do you call it?
Because he was like, no, it's semen.
Yes.
But it's that one day he told me, just talk to the boy about his juices.
Yes.
Like, now what am I discussing with him?
That's a good one. Yeah.
So he said, no, just tell him one day you'll wake up, you'll find that your
sheets are wet,
that you've drawn a map. Most likely of Australia. I don't know why it's Australia, but it's more often Australia.
That's
and
nice.
Then, it's good language.
Yeah, because I have dude, have you made, is your bed wet in the mornings? Yeah. The older one. Not yet.
So then I say, okay, when it happens, it's normal. And this is what's happening. Now, your juices called semen are coming out, and it's starting to say that you can actually now impregnate a woman.
Correct.
Now, what does that mean? It means that now you have a responsibility about how we treat women around us. Okay? You have some power, and with power comes responsibility.
Nice.
So I started having the conversation about how do you treat women around us? How do you treat your mom? How do you treat your sister?
Correct.
What does respect
look
like?
Correct.
Even some things about chivalry, So if you see mom struggling with something that you can do, go and help. Okay? You're the stronger one. You know? Okay, maybe it's toxic in a sense, but I'm trying to teach that don't be passive.
Correct.
Okay? So even now when we go into the car, I'll tell him, open the door for your sister. So I'm trying to teach a sense of values. I don't know if they're age appropriate yet.
But you have to start.
But start somewhere.
Yeah.
So that as it goes along, as we're having this conversation on sexuality, because it's a continuous conversation, it's coming with a sense of a value system that comes with it.
Correct.
So that when he's making his choices, he knows.
Don't worry about it. I write notes. I write a lot.
You guys, I made it in life, Maze. A doctor is taking notes from things I've said. I have no degree. Are you seeing what's happening here? Anyway, so no, I'm just being silly.
I know.
So that's the thing that I think Zabo was very useful for me for. It's that thing of be blunt, say the truth, don't sugarcoat names. I like that you know it's a penis, it's a vagina. You're calling them for what they really are,
which it is. Yeah.
And then, but also with it, so don't sugarcoat, tell the truth.
Yeah.
But then with it, also think through what is the opportunity to teach a value.
Yeah.
With this conversation.
Correct.
What value can we infuse so that there's that attachment as you go along, and as the kid grows, then he's able to make just better choices. Hopefully.
Correct.
Yeah.
Actually, even the discussion on porn, I remember when I went to high school, one of our mentors talked about porn and framed it the best way that I remember it up to today. And
what did he say?
He said the challenge with porn is that it portrays women in the wrong light. It actually degrades. It's a devalue system, and if you don't understand that and you consume it, that becomes your reality. And that's what I have tried talking about porn again. One, because with these gadgets now with homeschooling, we were able to control when they were going to brick and mortar, so you could control that. But now, because they are homeschooling, they're online. They're online all the time. You know, there will be a point where either when they play these online games, you'd find a link, chick with big boobs and with the signs. As a kid, you'd press and start getting this kind of stimulation. So I've had the conversation about porn, like it degrades women, and I think if you will get to a point where you will have to watch it because you will not avoid stumbling upon it. Whether it's your friends, you will go for a party and a guy will just flip and say, dude, look at this. Yeah. So again, you can do as much as we can, but I like what I was writing down is the value system. I probably didn't think about a value system behind it. Why? As we're just being practical, talk about it because someone else is going to talk about it.
That's true. And it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I think okay, so first, I think the things you can do. So we've been researching
juices.
Not
I've
juices.
written juices. In Australia.
So I've been researching on firewalls.
Yep.
So
yes. There was a good thread on Twitter about the basic firewall for your router. I can share. Please
share. Yeah.
I used that, and it was so simple. It blocks all adult related content. I have it. That's an important one. Yeah.
So but the reason I'm talking about it is because then you're like, okay, you can't protect your child all the time.
Never. Well, in fact, I asked you a question. Do your parents know half of the things that happened to you in your young adult life?
No. And they never will.
Thank you.
Even if they listen to this podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, so no, I mean it's the truth. You cannot protect these children forever. Correct. And everywhere, but you can manage the amount of stimuli that they get
at a young age.
Correct. And especially from your own home.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I'm glad you have some thoughts on the files, and please share, and I'll even and if you guys are interested, let me know, and I'm happy to share what Mwirigi shares on the firewalls, because I think it's important for us to have tools that are available as parents for protecting our kids.
Correct. Yeah.
Let's talk about the den.
Ooh.
So
I will follow your lead.
yeah. So guys, I'm sure you guys know I did a gig called The Den about 2 Saturdays ago. I had it at a secret location in Kilimani.
Secret.
And part of the code for The Den is that we don't share what happened there. And so we won't share what happened there. But I want to pick some thoughts from you about the space.
I'm smiling.
Okay, let me first ask you.
Yeah, sure.
When you came, what were you expecting?
Actually, I was open. I was not expecting. I didn't have any
You
expectations.
didn't know what to expect, so you came open.
This is my behavior.
Okay. What worked for you? What was it? What is it that when you probably thought about the gig later?
Yeah.
You're like, that went well.
What I thought was first, guys were willing to share. That went really well, and there was a theme threaded throughout all the guys who came, and it made,
wasn't it crazy? Because
it's like a theme. Like
we're all at very separate places in our lives.
We hardly know each other.
We didn't know each other.
Yes,
but we all had very similar.
There's a thread, as in and as so. You are the first to speak.
Yeah.
Then I was sitting next to you.
Yeah.
So those were more reserved. Then as the people kept on talking, you could see light bulbs going around in the room. Like, okay, all right, I feel that.
Yeah.
You could read the body language was okay, less tense. Like, I don't know what's happening. To okay, I relate to that. And yeah, after the time even overran, and I think it just opened the doors that one. Men need to talk, and men need to talk to other men, almost like a Pastor Mulandi kind of scenario, where the focus was on teens, but also throughout. There are even books written in the 60s, Amani, about what we call passages. There are some growth areas we need to go through as human beings, both male and female, that sometimes we assume we just go through life like that, but we end up having moments of crisis. So I think women have been doing it forever, where they are able to share, communicate, and are able to be able to connect. For us, we don't have such opportunities as men, and I think it was good.
You know what was strange?
Yeah.
We think women have it, but they don't.
Correct.
So someone called me. A chick called me and said, I'm trying to remember what her reference point was, and she was like, she was listening to a podcast. So it had Kanji and Gerald and myself.
Yeah.
I can't remember what episode it is. And she was saying women don't have that because they never let the other person finish. So it sounded
validate that
funny.
comment. Yeah.
It sounded funny, but she was saying there's a certain honor that we give each other when we allow ourselves to speak.
That you can finish.
You can finish your thought.
All right.
And so what happens is that then, even though they're talking, they don't necessarily share everything because that environment is so charged, and then plus
there's then the one spark.
Yeah,
like
exactly. But you're right. So the conversation we were having earlier before we started recording.
Yes,
I've come to a theory.
Yes,
that men don't speak because they don't want to speak. I think there are two reasons men don't speak.
All right.
One, it hasn't been modeled.
Okay.
So if you do not grow up with an expressive father or a home that was expressive and you saw the men do it, then you have no model. The
same way I was talking about. Yeah.
Exactly. The same way you're talking about. So you have no model to see it.
Yeah.
So I've seen men who have had, say, fathers who expressed emotion, even they have higher emotional awareness and higher emotional intelligence because they saw it. So there's that lack of modeling, which is historical. It has its own issues. But I think colonialism was a turning point for it, for us.
To speak.
To stop speaking.
To stop speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually think the traditional African man, from books I've read, even like when you read like African literature, they were fairly expressive.
Okay. Cool.
They're probably not, they were not crying, emotional, but they were not as, we don't talk as we are today.
All right.
Yeah. In fact, even look at a Swahili, palipo wanaume haparibiki neno. You know, there's something about, there's an
honor.
There's an honor and there's an inference that there's kuna gumzo. There's conversation, and in that conversation, solutions will come.
Correct.
That was our African traditional society. I think colonialism.
I think it's a British nature.
And so the British nature of being aristocratic.
Yes.
And also separating families, pain, not wanting to show this guy that I'm feeling pain, and protecting your family from what's happening to you. You know, you sort of create a new culture. Anyway.
Cool.
I think that's part of it.
Okay.
But the second reason is safety, and I'll explain it. The rules we set up for the den created an environment that people felt, I'm fairly safe here.
Yes.
Fairly. You know, but as you go along now, you start to say, oh, the guy shared this, even me now I can start to share.
I can share, yeah.
One of the things I found as a huge impediment to men sharing their stories is that you will say something and it will be invalidated.
Wow.
You'll say something to your wife and her response invalidates your emotion.
Okay.
Or what you're feeling. Or the filter that she uses to hear. So like now if you went home and say, I'm tired. A question will be, is he tired from work? Is he tired of me?
Yes.
Is he tired of this family?
Okay.
He's been acting funny. Is he really tired of this relationship? You know, so that... So if you say, I'm tired, I want to take a break. So I'm going to Costa for 2 days, just alone, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
Now, it compounds these filters to...
That's another level of...
Yeah, he doesn't want to be with me.
Yeah.
Maybe he's cheating, you know, like... But really, you're just tired and you just need to unplug.
Yes.
This is it.
Yes.
So, for a long time, and I think it's from childhood actually, not just... this is not a problem about marriage.
Yes.
It's... Men go through these spaces where they're not allowed to... Whatever they say, whatever they do, whatever they say, especially, is invalidated. Or is given meaning that is not what they said.
Yes. Okay.
And then it has consequences.
That we are not aware of.
Yeah. So if you went home in the evening as a child from school and you told your mom, let me just use the same thing, and you told your mom, I'm tired, and she says, I don't care, you're tired, you're going to wash those dishes.
Yes.
You are not saying I'm tired, I don't want to wash dishes. You are just expressing that you are tired from the long day.
Okay.
You understand?
Clearly, yeah.
But there's something
we don't understand it.
Yeah, but there's something that has... So you feel like you're now even being punished for saying you're tired.
Okay. I'd not seen it that way.
So as you grow, you learn to say less and less. Because every time you say something, it comes with a consequence that you did not plan for. Yeah?
Yeah.
It becomes invalidated.
Interesting.
And then that's compounded now when you're an adult and you come home and everything you say has a different meaning from what you meant it to be.
Yeah.
You'll never say.
You'd rather not say.
To
deal with, you don't want to deal with it at
and
that
even
time.
as boys, I'm not blaming chicks, because even as boys, even when you come and tell me, I'll tell you, even though kuna kuanga maze, iza jo.
Tuendelee.
Tuendelee, shika maze.
Shika.
Kunywa kitu. I've not even acknowledged your emotion.
Yeah.
I've dismissed it.
Yeah. I think that perspective is an interesting perspective. I'd have to think about it.
It's okay. Think about it.
Yeah.
So I've narrowed it down in my theory
to those two.
To those two.
Okay.
And the one that I can solve is safety. Okay?
The den.
The den.
Okay.
And say, how do I create a space where for a moment there's no judgment?
Peace.
Yeah, there's peace. You don't even necessarily get opinion.
Yes.
Okay? Everything that you say is welcome and accepted.
So my question to you is, why aren't we able to have this kind of safety and judgment in these pods? Because we have pods. So you have, as you're saying, your boys you'd have drinks with. You'd have pods where you're at work. Or you've different social...
One of my pods is actually waiting outside. But but you'll meet him. You know him already.
Yes. And the question is, why can't we have that in those pods, which I think women do very well? But you're right. The question is, are they able to fully communicate or express their concerns?
I think some do, to be honest. I think some do.
Even some men.
To,
but let's also be very clear.
Yeah.
We make assumptions. There are also men who are in very active pods and have this kind of...
And I do. I'm very grateful that I've had that. But you know what happens?
Correct.
One is a sense of awareness. You need that some guys, it doesn't have to be everyone in your pod, but someone who is aware enough to be able to see the opportunity here is that we can be real.
Correct.
And maybe I'll help push the envelope for realness.
Yeah.
Then that becomes the norm.
Let me explain how we do it in our pod. And one thing we realized, we have that safety net. Can I trust you to be just very frank? And then you realize this saying, Leo ni mimi, kesho ni wewe. And we have seen it. Today you are up, Amani, you're the guy, things are working. Today I'm the one down, either socially, at home, my marriage, or business or work. And you're there, express. And then we find these cycles. You've left, you're 360, you are struggling, or and today I get a new job. We realize it's just a cycle. So that I think you've hit the point. The judging, that's, I think
it's everything.
Kwanza for men.
Yeah.
I'm saying what I'm exposing my raw self. I've not analyzed it. I'm just throwing it out to you guys to probably give me feedback. That's not something is learned. It's not learned. Yeah. But you
can do it. You can create it.
Yeah.
And I think you see what you're doing with your guys, what I've done with my boys.
Yes.
What I'm starting to do the den, and I went to Nax and I had a group of guys who we did the same with. There was one person or a couple of people in the group that had a bit more awareness. That was saying, this group, we are boys, but there's like a level we've not gotten to.
There's levels.
Yeah.
So then they'll break away the ones who are able to share.
But there's one, what happened, this guy, he said, I'm going to push the envelope. I'm going to push us all to go to the next one. So he called me to say, come facilitate a session.
Wow.
So, and we created now that safety net, because once you know that there's safety, there's trust that I can speak and I will not be judged, you will speak.
Correct.
And so anyway, that's what I'm trying to do with the den, and I'm really hoping that we can create a culture of it, and we can start, men can everywhere go and say, even now you with your boys, hey, I saw this, or I had this, or I experienced this, can we do it here? Can we push to the next level? What didn't you like? What do you think we could have done better?
To be honest, for our first session, it went well. So I don't look at bells and whistles. I think it went. If I understood what was, as you gave the
apart from
explanation,
vegetables, because now we're gonna have cooked vegetables.
So that was the only challenge. It was all unhealthy snacks.
There was kachumbari. There was
I ate
chicken.
all the carrots, by the cucumbers
and the carrots.
And then, of course, after eating the carrots and the cucumbers, I went and ate the nice meat that was being. I think that was it was a nice experience. Just from even with human behavior, just know there will be places it will fall short. And now how do the men handle that kind of situation is what goes on next. But I think, and I'm saying, I am happy that men are organizing. We are being heard. I think we have been, as you said, on the background too much. Let's get heard, and there'll be backlash. People don't like us organizing, and I'll say it. They don't.
It's true.
Let me tell you, the thing with my pod, I like that word, pod. Yes, our wives have tried to understand and have tried to invalidate it. Like, oh, today is the day you guys are meeting. Oh, why? Why not hang out with me? No, we're doing this. Initially, some were reluctant, like, why should we do this? Why should we? And the day Leo ni mimi, the day it's me and that group helps you, it immediately people understand the value. So I'm not participating I'm there, but I don't really need this today, because I am in a good space. But the day you're in like,
you're in funk.
So now that becomes like, okay, so leo ni mimi, kesho ni wewe. Yeah, so that's how it goes. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
an hour has ended.
Wow.
And we haven't even
gone to 2015, 2014.
We're not even going to 2014. But you guys, thank you so much for coming to talk to me, man.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the coffee.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And I can't wait I think there's more that you and I need to like share even on this conversation, on the podcast. But dude, just for sharing your life and your journey, I think there's
small
opportunity
bit.
to small of it. Yeah. Small part of it.
Yeah.
I think for me, the takeout is like, try out your crazy ideas, man.
Try them out.
You never know what comes out of it.
Try them out and be yourself. In fact, if there's anything else, believe in that voice in your head, despite what everyone else tells you. Just believe in it. It sounds like cliche, but knowledge of self is number one. All those books you read, all those self-help, they just are trying to tell you, get to know yourself better. Yeah.
You heard from the wisdom of the man, Torooti.
Yeah. So I am Mwirigi, son of Kinagwi. So Torooti.
Torooti.
Yes. So Merunized.
Merunized. I like it.
Yes.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Cheers.
21st is when we're doing the next one.